Cash-a-maniacs.
GeoGearHeads.
Welcome to episode 200 of the GeoGearHeads. What a milestone episode. I mean, if you've done 200 geocaches, we'd almost consider you a real geocacher. But when you've done 200 episodes of a podcast, we consider you almost a real podcaster. So we are honored to have Scott Burks and Shorty Knits with us on this very episode to talk about road caching.
Hey
So
guys, how
welcome
you guys
aboard.
doing? Hello, hello, hello. I'm talking over the host. Hello, Chris. How are you today?
I am well. How are you, Scott?
Very good, my good man. Very good, Daryl. Always a pleasure. You know, you're my hero.
You guys back. You know, you've been on, I think, for like 5 or 6 times plus a bonus show, and Shorty's been on a bonus show at least, gone caching a couple times. Still want to get back out and do some of the caches in Chicago again that I'm drooling over.
Yes, yeah, you got to come back out here. I came to see you. You got to come back out here and see me.
Well, and I'm kind of drooling over doing one of those trips by Amtrak, so that you come in by train, you don't have the car, you hit the city, and then you leave. And
so come in. You know what? I think we're going to do geocaching day in the city this year.
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
Suddenly, Daryl.
I can come in by Amtrak as well. It's a little farther trip. But it's the Amtrak.
I was going to say,
Daryl's a fellow tribe member. He's not doing anything at Christmas Day.
Well, sadly, my girlfriend actually has to work that day.
Oh, that's good.
So it would be a solo trip.
So come on in. How long does it take to? Of course, we start at like 6 in the morning though, so you'd have to come in like the night before.
So I wrap up the show because we're recording on New Year's Eve. I wrap up the show.
Christmas Eve.
And Christmas Eve. Well, we're recording New Year's Eve as well, but I can wrap up the show on Christmas Eve and like drive out there and be there, meet you guys for the first cache of the morning.
There you go, dude.
There you go.
Come on.
What happened to the train?
Well, if I take the train is like 8 to 10 hours.
Is it really? It's from Chicago to Detroit. It's 8 to 10 hours.
It's only scheduled for like 5 or 6, I think. But
Really?
yeah, it takes like 8 or 10 hours. Plus, there's that time change in the middle.
Oh, that's right. It's a time change.
Yeah. So that always throws a little wrench into.
You are
the,
always
situation.
welcome to come to geocaching day. It's a lot of fun. It's like the zombie apocalypse.
I want to go at some point.
No one's out. You can do it. You can lift any skirt you want. No one will say a word.
I love going caching on Christmas
Are we still
Day.
talking about caching?
We are. We are for a change.
That's right. The Jews love the Christmas caching.
That's a little bit of a road trip. And we actually asked about how many road caching shows we did as this week's question. So before we get into the answer, Shorty, you want to tell us who won that and what they won?
Sure. The Tower of Song is the winner. So congratulations, you have won a membership to Project GC.
And that code should be in your email before too much longer. I didn't have a chance to do it now. But here's the fun part, Chris. I completely messed up when I prepped that show. Because we had to shuffle a few shows around, and that was actually going to be the one with Dave DeBear was going to be the 6th road caching show, but I had to move it and swap stuff around, so it became the 7th show, but I forgot to change the title. So there's really 6 shows, even though we said it was 5 shows. So we took both answers, and I was surprised how many people actually got it right.
So is the show actually bigger on the inside?
It is.
Okay.
It's pretty amazing because it's only 5 on the outside, or 6
involved.
on the outside. It's 6 on the outside, but 7 on the inside.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, guys, congratulations on 200 shows. That's
Thank you.
quite the accomplishment.
And we got many, many more coming, which we'll talk about at the end of the show. But we did get congratulatory voicemail from someone.
Daryl and Chris, the Gearheads. Congratulations on your milestone of 200 caches. This is the Wooden Radio. Been a guest on your show a couple times. And Chris, I was with you when you did your milestone of 800 at GCHQ, and I did 1,000. Just to let you know, a couple of weeks ago, I reached 3,000. And you guys all, well, let's see, keep on gearing, keep on gearheading. or just keep on caching.
Well, thank you very much for that. And I think, I don't remember for sure, but he's actually going to be on the show again. A little sneak peek. We've got a very cool show coming up for New Year's Eve, where we're going to have a number of the patrons join us for a randomized show. So watch out for that one, because it's going to be a packed house, I'm sure. We can only get 10 people in the hangout, so that means 8 patrons. So that's our hard limit. But I have the feeling we're going to get 8 patrons in for that show. That should be a lot of fun.
That should be a lot of fun.
That's New Year's Eve?
That's New Year's Eve. So we're going to be in some parts of the world, like Europe and stuff. It will be New Year's Day, like early in the morning.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And here in the U.S., it's going to be New Year's Eve. So we do have one of the patrons in, I think it was Sweden. Maybe I can't remember now, but he's going to be joining us. So he'll give us a preview of what 2016 looks like for those of us still living in 2015.
So he'll let us know if 2016 actually happens.
I'm still here. It exists.
Yeah, because you do have to wonder sometimes if, after that, those of us who went through that whole Y2K thing,
Right,
if something's going to happen and the world's going to stop, because they told us it was going to happen then. So
Yeah,
I figure
remember
we're
that whole lot of nothing? Remember that?
Yeah.
I figure disappointed.
I figure we're just biding time, so eventually it's going to happen.
I left a party to go sit and watch my computer do nothing. It's like, it's going to break, it's going to blow up. Nothing. This is disappointing.
Did you have a Mac or did you have a PC? I could have saved you time, and if you had a Mac, I'd be like, no, just go back to the party, dude. It's fine.
Well, yeah, the fun thing was at the time I was working with a bunch of industrial control systems that were all on these old PC-based motherboards. And, of course, all of those motherboards had to be swapped out, so we had a big year changing all of those. And, of course, there's a few of them that didn't get changed out in time, and nothing happened until they rebooted.
Yeah, I mean, I spent 99. I was a PC tech. I was actually, I was working for this company that had that the client was a huge accounting firm. 600 computers or something like that, and all of them had to be Y2K compliant. So each one had to have that little patch. They had to download the patch from Dell and then install the patch and the whole 9 yards. And trying to get accountants to do that when it's like March and April they're not happy to see you. They're kind of busy during that time. That's their busy time. And so all of them, they were like, it was just a bad job because nobody was nice to me because everybody was busy and needed to do their work. And I'm like, just let me install this patch. It'll take 15 minutes.
Yeah, and no one believes it's just going to take 15 minutes because, they know it's Windows and nothing takes 15 minutes.
Yeah, so you're trying to
especially
trying to juggle plans around and trying to get people, okay, I'll come back at 2, and then you have to tell the person at 2, you got to come at 3, and
Yeah, and remember, guys, at this point, we're like happy to have Pentiums.
Yeah, it was a much different time then than it is now.
Yeah,
Pentium Pros.
Yeah, at 90 megahertz.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, 120.
That's when you had the big one.
That's when RAM was like $600 for RAM. Remember those days?
Well, yeah, it depended on how big you got.
Well, remember RAM actually changed like gasoline, like week to week. It changed.
The
price changed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, drag us out of this and let's get something out of the live Q&A.
Well, in the live Q&A, Ian says, "Congrats on reaching 200 shows, guys." So thank you, Ian.
Yes, congratulations, guys.
So with that, why don't we get into road caching? And Chris, I think it was Scott who on Geocaching Podcast dubbed Shorty Knits as the queen of road cache planning.
That would not surprise me.
Apparently Jessie doesn't listen to my show. She had no idea.
Scott, does she listen to you?
I hear most of it for here anyway.
She hears one side of it.
I just fill in the rest.
She hears the important side, the good side, is what she hears.
So being the queen, we figured that it was important to get you on to talk about the planning. Before we get into all of that, though, why don't you give us highlights from the last couple of trips that you did?
Well, the most recent trip that we did was a 3-day, 2,000-mile trip from Chicago to Nebraska for GeoCoinFest to Mingo and back home again. We ended up with maybe 60 or so caches was all on that trip. But we had a ton of virtuals. We got Mingo, which is the oldest active cache in the world. We got Nebraska's oldest and second oldest. We got Missouri's oldest, and a ton of favorite points. So it was.
And a bunch of camera ones.
Oh yeah, and yeah, three webcams I think on that trip.
Yeah.
So so that was a whirlwind. Very fast, a lot of miles.
Yeah, yeah. But like that kind of trip that you take, from Friday to Sunday, going to Kansas and back, and getting those kind of caches, planning is a necessity for that. You can't just wing it, kind of a thing. It needs to be planned, and that's where Jessie comes in. I'm not good at that at all. I just, she complains because she's like, you don't do anything. But then again, I'm not good at it. She's a natural at it, at doing that kind of planning. So I leave it to her pretty much. But and one funny thing that happened is, as good as she is, and she is good, but we both get one more-itis every time we do anything. And last trip we were on, it was Sunday, and it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're still in Kansas, and we know we're in big trouble here.
So we had to pick up my kid.
We had to pick up her son in Illinois, and it's 4 o'clock, and we're in Kansas. And so we didn't get back till midnight, Sunday at midnight because of that. But that was just one more-itis. It's just like, oh my God, there's a great one over here, there's a great one over here,
trying to avoid one, the event was kind of just the excuse to do the trip, from what it sounded like.
Yeah, definitely.
The trip was like, oh my God, there's a mega. We got to go for the mega.
Yeah. And then hey, we're halfway to.
Well, yeah. What else are you going to get the chance to do it? Yeah. But to top it off, you guys were also doing periscopes along the way.
Yes, we were. Yes, we had a lot of fun with Periscope. It's a great little toy. It really is. Especially if you have unlimited.
Data
like I do. It's a great little toy to have.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So did you just put your cell phone in the car mount and leave it running for the entire trip?
No, but I don't worry about it at all. I don't worry that I'm going to go over my data or anything like that.
Nice.
So it's it's all unlimited. So it's just I can just do it whenever I want to do it. But it's and when we try and do 2 or 3, two or three road trips a year roughly.
Per year, yeah.
And we've had some where we've gone, you want to talk about the one we did before that, which is we went to what was it?
Which one?
The Icon one. The trail thing.
I don't know. I have no idea.
In Alabama.
Yeah. What is that?
The thing, multiple icons
maze.
The maze.
The maze.
Yes, the GPS maze.
So tell them about that trip. You want to talk about a road trip, a planned road trip? Listen to this. This is insane.
That was so
long
ago.
We talked about this.
We have talked about it.
But it's, we did what, 3 days to Alabama
3 days
and back.
to Alabama and back through 7 states.
Yeah. It was 17 hours one way. It was crazy. And, 7 states, a different icon in each state. Mm-hmm. 2 different icons in each state.
2 different icons.
2 different icons in each state.
That was for a challenge.
Yeah, for a challenge that we did here in Illinois. So it's a lot of planning, but if it's the key is a plan, and Jessie's really good at that in terms of she actually maps out. Why don't you explain? I don't know if I can explain this. You explain what you do.
To map out the route?
Yeah.
Well, we figure out what are our destinations. So, like, for example, the Nebraska trip, we knew GeoCoinFest was one, we knew Mingo was one, we knew Missouri's oldest was one. So I pick those points, and I throw them into Google Maps, and then, plan a route stopping at each one of those locations. And the nice thing about Google Maps is you can drag and drop each of your locations around, so you can look at your total drive time and figure out what route is going to give you the shortest driving distance. Or the shortest time anyway, and then plan from there. So we knew, for us, it made more sense on this trip to go to Nebraska first, stay there overnight, get up early, drive to Mingo the next morning, after we stopped at the event,
right.
And then head back east during the day on Saturday, stay overnight somewhere as far as we could get on Saturday, and then drive home Sunday. Although Sunday was
Yeah,
a little hectic with our one more itis.
Sunday got a little crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we knew Saturday night just drive until we can't drive anymore. Because I knew, we had to even when because originally we were gonna go drive all the way to Mingo, and then get it first thing in the morning, and then go to the event.
Right.
So go as far as we can, and then so the whole trip, the whole rest of the weekend will be going backwards. But it just made sense, like she said, it made sense to stop in Nebraska.
Yeah, when you actually map it out and figure out what your drive time is, it made more sense to do it the way we did it.
Right.
Well, let's talk a little bit about which devices you're actually using for all of that. And I believe at this point you're pretty much just using the smartphones. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are. I think we both did bring our GPSs and laptop just in case there was an issue with data or anything else.
The GPSs were loaded, and we had the GPX files on there, loaded, ready to go. But
never used them.
We never used them.
No. We both had signal the whole way.
Yeah.
We both had data. I had our target caches saved in an offline database I use CGO on my Android, so I had those saved offline. So.
And then how did you actually pick those caches and create that GPX file?
Well, I knew we were going to GeoCoinFest in Omaha, so I looked around Omaha. I knew that Nebraska's oldest and second oldest were both very close to there, and then really I just looked, on the map in that area, and I picked the caches that had most favorite points or the non-traditionals.
Yeah, the Jesse Brown pick is always favorite points, non-traditionals.
Yeah.
She usually leaves the traditionals alone. Anything but a traditional she'll go for.
Unless it has favorite points, and then I'll look at it, and then maybe.
Or pretty much Earth Cache webcam, Earth Cache webcam.
Earth Cache webcam, virtuals. I love virtuals.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's our trips.
Our drive home was 90% virtuals.
Yeah.
We stopped for almost every virtual on the way home.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and one thing that I've figured out that really came in handy was using the search on geocaching.com. With this new search, if you let's say I want to look at all the caches in Nebraska. We'll just use as an example because that's where we just were, and I want to find all of the caches in Nebraska that have the most favorite points. So when you go to geocaching.com and bring up the new search, if you type in there for location Nebraska, and you can do that, it'll say Nebraska, United States.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It only brings up 10,000 caches. Well, there's more than 10,000 caches in Nebraska. So if you sort by favorite points or sort by date placed or whatever, it's not showing you all of the caches in Nebraska. So the way around that I figured out is down in the bottom right corner of the search, there's a link to go to the old search where you can bring up by state and it will show you all 30-something thousand or however many there are in the entire state, and so then you can search that way.
So you're saying 10,000 caches weren't enough for you?
10,000 caches were not enough on that trip, no.
Not for Jesse, no.
And, I mean, does it make a difference if you sort by type? You eliminate all the traditionals and you look for just...
Yeah, but I don't necessarily want to eliminate traditionals. If I'm going for favorite points, it might be a traditional that has a lot of favorites.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take a quick break for a comment in the live Q&A. From Jinda29, we've just returned from an international trip to attend a mega event in Christchurch, New Zealand. We were there for 5 days, covered 1,100 kilometers, and found 360-something caches. One of our buddies had created a road book from GSAC for our trip.
Nice.
Sometimes I really do like having that physical paper to, cross off and make notes, but most of the time, I just find that too cumbersome to deal with.
We've done that.
I do that on the trip. We've done enough road trips that we kind of have our system down. That Scott drives, I navigate. I literally have a notebook with us that has our list. Friday, these are our must-do caches.
Yeah,
Saturday, these are our must-do caches.
Yeah, must-dos and then extras and then if we have times. That's how she breaks them down, pretty much. Yeah.
And then you just figure that out on the fly on the road. Do you have any criteria that you're making notes as to drive times or something that make that determination, or is it just?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Is things you can't take into account is My phone's going
That's
off.
you.
I have no idea where my phone is, but I hear it. Sorry, my alarm's going off. Sorry, guys. Things you don't take into account: traffic, construction, whether I got to eat or something like that. You're not, it's just things that are, one more itis,
We
or
need an extra hour of sleep in the morning.
yeah, getting out late, or something along those lines. So it's stuff like that they don't take into account. So that's why we always have the must-haves, and then the extras, and then the if we have times.
Mhm.
So are you getting more of the extras and if we have times in the morning, and then as you go through the day realize we're not going to make this schedule if we keep hitting all these? Or
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it just depends on the situation. And that's exactly what happened to us that Sunday morning of our Nebraska trip. That's exactly what happened was we got up, we said, okay, we're heading in this direction, and there was just one more here and just one more there, and next thing we knew, it was 1 o'clock. We were still in Kansas, and we needed to get back to Chicago, which is pretty far.
Exactly.
Oops. So how are you handling the navigation in the car? Are you using like Google Street Maps to actually route between the caches, or?
I actually use Waze.
Oh, Waze, okay.
Yep. So from CGO, I bring up the cache that as our next target, and I'll open an external app, and I choose Waze, and it routes us for the most part right there. When we get within a mile or so, I'll close that out and I'll navigate us the rest of the way. Just because there's always issues with parking, or if it's in a forest preserve or something, it might not necessarily know where parking is for that.
Right, but that way at least you're getting that traffic and construction information.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
And the police.
And the police. Yeah.
Strictly for the police.
Scott, I thought you looked forward to those LEOs.
Geocaching, not driving.
No.
Not when I'm trying to make up time and and I'm speeding. No. Yeah. So when we've had some, it's gotten pretty good. We've got like you said, we've got a pretty down pat on how we do things, and it's a pretty good system in terms of, like, I guess, like, do you want to teach people how to do it, like your method? Do you want her to teach you how to do it?
What's my method?
So we get the official shorting its method of
like how do you do it? What do you what's your advice, I guess, for people out there?
Yeah, what software are you using to build those GPXs? Is it something like bookmark lists on geocaching.com, handpicking those caches, or what?
Yep. Yeah. This last trip, that's the way that I did it. I had the target caches all in a bookmark list, and I created a GPX from that. Trips in the past, I've used Project GC to create that. What do they call it? The GPS, the virtual GPS, yeah, and create the GPX that way, which works really well also. And I always throw a copy of the GPX file, the map files, anything else that we might need into my Dropbox. So that I have access to it just in case, for whatever reason, something happens and my phone crashes, or who knows. So I always have access to it that way.
Yeah, and I always say leave a little time, just because you're always going to get a one more itis. So my advice to anybody out there taking a road trip and trying to do this is make sure you just leave a little time, just a little extra, just because you're gonna go one more, especially when you're going for a cache, and then your partner who didn't do it, who like me, goes, there's one like 400 feet away. And she's like, no. I'm like, that's 400 feet. Come on. Okay, fine. Then we go to that one. You're like, no, there's one another 400 feet away.
And what's funny is we're exactly the opposite of the way that's exactly the opposite of the way it used to be. It used to be me saying, oh, but look, there's just one more right here. And well, look, there's one more right here. Right. And he'd say, no, we don't have time. And now it's him saying, but there's one right here. And I'm like, no, but we have a schedule to keep. We have other caches we have to get to.
Right. We have to get this one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, we've taken some long trips. When last year, 2 years. God, it's 2 years already. The West Virginia trip?
Oh yeah, that was a fantastic trip.
Crazy trip. But like, that it was really planned out. When you go into West Virginia and back in a weekend, or how much, 4 days?
Yeah, I think we took 4 days.
Like it was, and we did a whole big U kind of a thing.
Yep.
And so it had to be meticulously planned out, which it was, because Shorty's a pretty meticulous person. So it was pretty planned out, and it had to be, and it was a really good trip. We got virtually, I think, everything we wanted to get.
Yeah, that trip we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I do, because I use CGO, and I save our target caches offline into an offline list. what's nice about that is when you bring up the live map, it shows you all of the caches, and then the ones that you have saved have a little icon on it, so you know those are your targets, and anything else that you're looking at, those would be the extras. So that's really nice. One thing that I wish CGO had, and if anybody knows of an app for Android that will do this, let me know, is to be able to create multiple offline lists, which CGO does, but then to somehow color code them so that you could view them all on one map and know, like, these are my primary caches, these are my if I have time caches, sort of a thing. And I don't know of an app that will do that. There may very well be one. So.
Yeah, I kind of always wanted a priority pinhead or something, so that all of your priority ones had a one pin, and
right.
Secondaries.
Well, Daryl, don't you know the CGO guy? Come on.
We don't actually know the CGO guy. We know the Cache Sense guy.
Oh, the Cache Sense. Isn't he the one? Isn't he the one under the under something heavy?
Yeah, he's under Munzie.
Is he the one who's not responding? Right? He's under something heavy. Didn't he take a trip and he disappeared or something like that?
Oh no, that's you're thinking. I think of the Geosphere guy. But he resurfaced.
Right. I didn't think of the Geosphere. You're kidding.
No, he resurfaced.
He got out of the under.
Yeah. He's promised he's working on it again. It's going to be a while before he can do anything. And this is on iOS only, but because of all the changes in iOS since the last update,
sure,
he pretty much has to rewrite the software.
So then why does he just rewrite it for both if he's got to rewrite it?
Well, he's an iOS guy. He's not going to... Yeah, and unfortunately, there's not a whole lot that you can do to cross-code for something like a geocaching app, because a lot of that gets specific to the platform.
Okay.
Or so I've been told.
Are you happy that he's coming back?
I am so happy, because I was getting annoyed with all of the little issues.
I was waiting for it to stop working.
Yeah, well, it did
it's
actually...
Still working well for me.
Yeah, it did work for most of the iOS 9 upgraders, but if you started out on iOS 9, like Renee just actually switched from the S5 Active to an iPhone 6S, and so she's installing the app from scratch, and there was a bunch of stuff like she couldn't read anything.
So she didn't have an iPhone, did she?
No, she's now on iPhone. She's almost a month, and she's very happy to be rid of the nightmares of that S5 Active.
That makes me so happy to hear.
Well, the S5 Active was a disaster in itself, so most of the problems were, I think, because it was the S5 Active, not because it was an S5.
Wow.
But the S6 Active is much better.
She went to the iPhone, huh?
She did. Well, but remember, she also started with, well, I shouldn't say started, but she had an iPhone previously and switched to the Galaxy family from the iPhone because she was annoyed with the iPhone 4.
Okay. Why was she not? What was so annoying about the iPhone 4?
She broke
I'm sick of this. Blah.
Well, she had a number of problems, and remember, the iPhone 4 under iOS 7, I think it was really, really kind of crummy.
I'm trying to remember it. Like nothing that warranted like I'm leaving.
Well, but then she cracked the screen. And it was.
We don't blame the iPhone for that.
No, but she needs a phone that's going to be a little bit more durable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. She was having some issues here and there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in any case, she had to install from scratch, and in doing so, none of those preference files were created. So there's a couple of links that you can go through in the browser on Geosphere and trigger it so that it actually works right again.
So hers wasn't working at all, is what you're saying.
Well, it was working, but you couldn't read anything.
Interesting.
Ooh, Carrot Killer in the live Q&A asked if he's the only one for whom the show has been frozen, and that would explain some of the weird number bouncing that we've seen. I think there is some issues for anyone who's watching live.
Shocking.
Hopefully the recorded version for YouTube is going to be okay.
Oh, no.
But you may be audio only if it's not. And, yeah, we are getting a few other people posting, like Wet Coaster says that he's having problems. So the audio version will be fine, guys. No worries there.
I'm not worried.
But in any case,
Oh, look at all those. Man, everybody's saying frozen, frozen. Yeah, but is it still frozen? They're on. Obviously, it's not frozen.
So,
well, the Q&A is working at least.
Daryl, I just downloaded Geosphere on the 6S Plus, and there's an iPhone or an iOS 9 fix.
Yep.
Wait, let me look, Chris.
And that's what you had to do. That's exactly what you had to do. Is you have to go and click on the French, English, or German to force it into those languages. The default, which it automatically text, stopped working, and you started getting weird text like, localization 1, localization 2, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's completed successfully. and that's what I did before, and it worked really well.
Yeah, see, for upgrading, if you'd already picked your language, which most people had, they didn't have an issue.
I just downloaded it on a brand new phone.
Yeah, see, then that's the problem, is if you download from scratch, then it would have a problem.
Interesting. Oh, there you go. Can't get past 13 minutes, 25 seconds. That's when it froze.
Yeah, so there was a problem over half the show ago.
No one gets to see pretty Jessie. With the pretty
well, hopefully the YouTube version is fine.
So yeah, guys.
Certainly the audio version is fine, so we're good.
So you can definitely do weekend trips. We can even do weekend trips that are pretty far away, as far as Kansas, from Illinois, which is pretty far. It's over 1,000 miles. It just takes some serious planning. You can't just you can't go on the cuff and just try and do it.
Use the caches along a route feature on geocaching.com.
Well, and one of the nice things is if you are using some of those third-party tools, you can upload the GPX. So you can pick those primary caches, create a GPX between them, but remember it's a 500-mile limit on a cache along route?
Yeah, I think 500 miles and then obviously 1,000 cache limit for your GPX.
Right.
Which sometimes can be an issue if you're going like from major city to major city and there's 1,000 within that city anyway.
Yeah. So you can do that. The other thing is if you're using their tool, you have to know roughly where those caches are, but you can, when you're creating the map, the route on their map, you can actually do that drag and drop that Jesse had been talking about earlier with just pick these points and slide them around, then it will change your whole route to match that. So if you've got multiple stops, even if you're going to like grandmother's house by way of your brother's house, for instance, you can go from your house to grandmother's house, right, and make sure that you go to your brother's house and avoid those woods and stream everything that you want to.
But my advice is everybody get out there, man. Go take those weekend trips. Find a partner. Luckily I have somebody I'm in love with who actually does it. But if not, find a partner and go weekend exploring. It's a lot of fun. And you can really do it on the cheap. And we spend what, $400 for the both of us?
Yeah, if that.
You just find cheap hotels and bring food. We bring food all the time in coolers and stuff like that. And you could do it really on the cheap. You really don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. And it's a lot of fun to get out there. Just see the country. We still have plenty of trips that we want to go to Minnesota. Our next trip I think is up to we're in Illinois, so up to Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and then back in a weekend. That's the next trip. And that's 3 states that we don't have. Both of us don't have. So
when you get to Minnesota, you'll have to do the dueling periscopes with Joshua.
I think we're gonna try and bum a night stay from Josh. So that's what we're hoping to do.
And you'll periscope the whole thing too.
There you go.
Yeah, so definitely a trip to Joshua is in order for that one. We were supposed to go this year, remember? But Little League kept us away from it. We had 3 kids in Little League, and when you got 3 kids in the Little League, you really trying to get those weekend trips is kind of tough. So.
Ooh, those darn schedules.
Freaking kids, man.
So, Shorty, can we pay for your planning services for our next trip?
Yeah, absolutely. She's also no, but I'll say absolutely. Absolutely. She'd be happy. She's really, I'm telling you, it's in her blood. Her father did it for years, and like planning routes, and so I think it's in her blood, and she's really, really good at it. She really is.
I think it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
She finds it fun, which is unbelievable. God bless you. Hey, go ahead, go crazy.
Like puzzle caches, it's just like that.
It is.
It's a different
totally
type of puzzle.
Absolutely, it is.
We actually
Solve the puzzle.
we actually periscoped. I think Daryl didn't see it, but we actually periscoped an FTF we got today. I get an alert on my phone, and it's I text Jesse. I text her to GC, and I'm looking at the puzzle. Literally 2 minutes later, Jesse sends me chords. I haven't even figured it out yet. I'm like, are you kidding? You got it? Like, it's not like good. I'm glad I'm dating a puzzler, because I am not. I'm looking at it going, what the hell does this even mean? I was trying to comprehend it, and she solved it within that time. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, his response was, "Are you serious? Like what? Yeah, here, I solved it. I had to. It was called Shorty Burks and Scott Knits. How could I not solve that right away?"
She solved it quickly. Yeah.
You were being taunted.
Yes. Well, we got it. Yeah. She's quick, man. I like it. It's good, because I think it's that analytical mind that I don't have it at all.
It works out well for you.
It does work very well for me, yeah. But I don't have that mind that she has. I'm a right brainer. She's a left brainer, so it's good. She likes the puzzles, and she's really good at them. So, and she's also good at planning a route. It's a gift. I'm telling you, I couldn't do it. I would just be like, let's just go. Let's just go.
Here's another tip, though. If you know someone who's recently taken a trip, look at their caches.
Oh yeah. Why is that?
Well, because chances are they've hit some of those popular caches, or if you're following a route of somebody that you know who has taken that trip.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Go look at their caches.
Yeah.
See what they hit, and then use those as your starting point anyway.
So if you're gonna go any place we've been, look at our caches, because Jesse hit the good ones.
Well, and I've seen some people who have actually published their bookmark lists as public with numbers in front, so they'll do like 01, 02, 03. Here's the caches you do in order, and they'll publish little tours essentially of towns or whatever, so you can do that kind of stuff. And if you're planning on something that's a trip to something like the a mega event that others from your area are going to hit, you can do the same thing. Here's the caches I'm going to do. If you want to do these caches, feel free to do the same ones in the same order. Yeah, and when I create those bookmark lists, I'll number it by the stop. So I'll have like 01, 02A, 02B. So I know that those like Bs are secondary targets that if I have time to continue at this exit, I'll go and do those, but otherwise not.
Yeah, but the most important thing is have fun and get out there and just leave time, because you never know where it's going to take you, where something's going to take you. Like I said, like we were so late that one morning because we're driving through Kansas, and we're driving to this really small town in Kansas. I mean, how many times in Kansas do we stop? And but we're driving to this really small town in Kansas. I mean, like 500 people town, like one little street town, and there's a grocery store that's open. And I'm like, I really want to go in that grocery store. And she's like, and Jesse goes, we're absolutely going in that grocery store. So I pull the car over and we go into I've never been in a small town grocery store, like I need to know what it looks like inside there. So we get out and we go in, and it's amazing. First of all, the guy knows, the guy who's running the store knows everybody by name but us. Okay, there's a bunch of people there. And then it's got like the catwalks above it, like with offices and stuff. And was it 4 aisles of food?
Three
or four aisles of food.
Aisles, maybe.
And you paid like $4 for a bag of M&Ms or something like that, some insane price. Like, it was just amazing. It was actually amazing. I had to stop it. So see, what I'm saying is you've got to leave some of that time. Because you're never going to know. You don't know. You can look at where you're going on a map, but until you're there and seeing things, you're going to want to stop and enjoy some of the things that are there.
Especially if, like, we target a lot of virtuals, and you can't spend 2 minutes at a virtual. Most of them, you're going to want to spend some time there because they're bringing you there for a reason.
Yeah, or a webcam or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so usually when I was doing my planning, I'd read through the descriptions of things like those virtuals and kind of figure out, okay, this is going to be a 15 or 20-minute virtual stop. So I'd figure that in, and I'd actually go and figure out on the spreadsheet. And I think, Scott, I shared the one of these that I had done with you, so that it has the drive time so that I know, okay, here's the drive times between these caches.
Of course you have the drive times there.
Well, yeah, I know that it's going to take me this long, and I'd have those times in there to know I have to leave here by this time.
Yeah, right.
To make it to the next, to make it to the end in timing.
But you know what? You see
that for the trip to what's it called? Help me out. Geo Woodstock a few years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But then you see a supermarket and it throws everything out the window. You never know what you're.
But we had that hard date or the hard time for the event that we had to be there by that. I want to say it was 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we had to be there for 6 o'clock. So we knew we had like the last 3 or 4 caches on the list had to be pitched because we were not going to make it in time.
Was that like 2 years ago, or was that a year ago?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
How does time go? Jesus, really?
That's what happens when you get old.
Man, it's too
I'm right
late.
there with you. Don't think I'm mocking you. I'm not. I'm right there.
So
No, I may be ahead of you.
So road caching, everybody go out and road cache. It's a lot of fun to do. It really, really is. I can't recommend it enough. Let's go see the country. Just go 2 states away. You can do it in a weekend easy.
Exactly.
Or even
Out in the
within your
west,
own
it's a
state.
little harder.
What'd you say?
Out in the west, it's a little harder.
Yeah, it's a little bigger states out
So the
there.
states are a little bigger. But, I was looking, since you mentioned it, I looked at Mingo. So Mingo, for me, is about 25 hours away.
Wow.
Wow. Wingo, how far was Mingo? 12 for us?
I think it was like 12 or 13
Yeah.
straight through.
Straight. And nobody goes straight through. Yeah.
No.
So.
Well, Chris, that sounds like a good week trip for you and the family next time.
Well, maybe not a week. I could get that done. Well, if with other caching, 4 days.
You could do a long weekend. I think
Yeah.
you can go Friday to Monday.
Geo Woodstock next year is nearby.
Oh yeah, Geo Woodstock
I
is
know.
right there.
Yeah,
It's an hour and a half away.
They just sent out an email. What Mingo is 3 hours and 40 minutes away.
That's gonna
Yeah.
Mingo is gonna get hit tremendously
Yep.
next year. Everybody's gonna have Mingo. Even
Mingo,
Daryl will
just-
have Mingo next year.
No, because I don't think I'm going to hit Geo Woodstock next year.
Oh, really?
My target mega event next year is going caching. I've got to hit that one.
I really want to go to that.
What is that?
That's
You
the
guys could
big
hit
one.
Georgia.
Down
Oh,
in
that's the
Georgia.
one out in
It's in Georgia.
in the south. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right down in the south.
Yeah.
What's
You guys
next
could hit it in a
year's?
weekend.
What was their theme? Do you remember, Chris?
This year?
Next year's?
No, for next year.
Oh,
This year was the Roman Renaissance,
Right.
I don't.
but this year it's actually changing venues, and they mentioned what it was, and I can't remember.
Is it getting closer, or is it staying out there?
No, it's
No,
the
it's
same
still
basic
staying.
location, but my impression is basically Rome, Georgia is a little too small to handle the 4 days events now.
Yeah.
Going caching 2016 is in FDR State Park. Don't know what that means.
That's probably Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Chris.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know where that is compared.
He was a president,
to the
by
rest
the
of
way.
Rome. It's a steampunk time travel theme.
That's right.
Time travel. Wow.
That's right. So
I mean,
that
how can you go wrong with that?
yeah,
Steampunk time. Wow.
Let's see.
that's just perfect for GeoGearHeads.
Right, it is actually. You are steampunk. You're steampunk geocaching.
We might be going to that next year.
What, to that one?
Oh, hopefully.
You want to go to? I thought you wanted to go to Woodstock. Didn't you want to go to Woodstock?
I don't know.
You need to.
I always want to go to Woodstock as well, but
This year we
It's
sat
one or
down
the
at the
other.
beginning of the year
Yeah.
with our calendars and
Yeah.
planned out our road trips
Well, we have-
around mega events.
Yeah, you have to understand is that we have between us we have 3 children, all under the age of 10. So we literally have to plan. Like we at the beginning of the year we plan. Okay, this is the trips we want to take. What do
Where can we
made-
fit them in?
We made a list of things we wanted to do, and then we slowly chopped that list, and then between a road trip or a mega or whatnot, what we definitely wanted to go to, and then we planned it out, okay, this, we every couple of months, you take a road trip, so that's what we tried to do. That's what you putting that there. That is awesome. Nobody can see you. I think everybody froze. Your joke is going to be appreciated.
probably. But we'll hope that people can see it in the recorded version.
Where did you get those?
Believe it or not, from what's the name of that really expensive, stupid hardware store?
What's the guy?
Restoration Hardware.
Oh, that's not
Restoration.
I was waiting for you to say, these are my glasses when I was 12.
Nope. All right. Well, thanks again, guys, for joining us. And you're going to stick with us and do a little bit of a patron bonus show, correct?
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
We'll be able to drag you into that.
Yeah.
Kicking and screaming.
Kicking and screaming. Yes.
Wait, who's going to be kicking and who's going to be screaming?
What?
I don't know.
What? Who? Where?
He's trying to assign the roles. So who wants to take the kicking and who wants to take the screaming?
I'll take the kicking. Jesse's a better screamer than me. Yeah, I went there. Oh, I went there. Yes, I did.
You know, I saw that coming.
Hey, now.
See what I put up. One of these days we're going to go on a road trip and I might be driving home by myself.
He'll come home in a body bag.
I wouldn't go that far.
Be in the trunk.
Oh, okay. So it's time again to get your emails ready. This one, you got to title Question 200 and address it to GeoGearHeads@CacheManiacs.com. There were 3 geocaches listed in the show notes for the last episode on intercaching. Send us the GC code for one of them. Just one GC number and nothing else but your geocaching.com screen name. That needs to be received at GeoGearHeads@CacheManiacs.com with the subject Question 200 by November 4th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Note that's changed. We're back to Standard Time. Or that's now 2 p.m. on the 5th GMT.
You know, Daryl, I can't take you seriously with where you're wearing those. I really, really can't. If you either have to wear those every show from now on.
Oh, he will. Don't do this to me.
No, I don't think I will. I have a hard time seeing. It's actually very difficult to read this stuff through these things.
Is it like the beer goggles you get when the cops try to show you what it's like to drive drunk?
Pretty much, yes.
The bike.
Pretty much.
You look like a fool.
Well, sometimes I am a fool.
You actually purchased those? You purchased
They were a gift, actually.
Somebody bought you those?
Yes.
Who bought you those? What a-hole bought you those?
The woman over there.
Well, Scott, it was nice caching with you. You'll never see Daryl again.
We've just been uninvited from there.
Okay, seriously, why would she buy them?
Because they looked funny.
It looks like that.
Exactly.
Oh, guys, if you're listening to this at work, seriously, stop what you're doing. Hold on, stop what you're doing and go to my Twitter because I'm taking a picture of him right now. Just in case it doesn't work. Wait, hold on.
Just screenshot it.
Look at the camera, Daryl.
Just screenshot it, and then you can post direct. And then
oh my God, that is golden. Wait, Daryl, hold on. Let me see if I can show you.
Oh my!
That's what you look like, dude. And it's going on Instagram and Twitter.
I'll have to actually go and check that out later when I can fully see again, and these are on.
See again.
What? So.
I'm going to hit like now, Scott.
It's going on Instagram right now, which means it'll be on Twitter in about 5 minutes. Well, I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Scott Burks if you want to see Daryl in these glasses if you're sitting there at work. Because it's a treat. So, Daryl, wait, no, you can't.
Okay.
We'll talk about it in the post show.
Finish.
We'll talk about it in post show.
This is to be continued in the Patreon show.
Exactly.
I need to know more about these glasses that you.
Okay,
wrap up your little show.
Yep. We got to wrap this up and get to the post show. All right, so get any of those 3 GC numbers right, and your name will be dropped into the drawing for a prize from coinsandpins.com.
Even though Daryl may look funny, he does a lot of hard work behind the scenes, obviously not with these glasses on. But we have shows set up. Next week, we're going to talk with Chilihead about intercaching. November 12th is another randomized show, 39. You want to get in on that one, send in your questions, your comments, all that's thrown in. These randomized shows are a lot of fun. You want to jump in on that. November 19th, we're doing smartphone caching. So if you have any questions about different apps about smartphone caching, make sure you get those into us. November 26th, we're doing another road caching because, come on, this was a lot of fun on this show, so we're going to add more to it on the 26th. December 3rd, we're talking about Munsies, non-Munsies. Yes, you heard that right. Munsies, non-Munsies.
Check the Cachemaniacs website at cachemaniacs.com for more on the GeoGearHeads, including show notes for this and all of our episodes. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us feedback by calling 206-350-3647, by emailing geogearheads@cachemaniacs.com, or through social media. Your support helps keep the Cachemaniacs shows coming. Please consider becoming a patron through the link on our website to support the Cashomaniac shows. GeoGearHeads is produced by Chris Suffenauer and Daryl Wanberg. This show is copyright 2015 by Daryl Wanberg. All rights reserved.